was on the parents page today and I saw that Barb had seen my video reading the story of the Good Samaritan. And she had made a comment on there, and she said being a good neighbor is washing your hands a lot to protect other people. And she said being a good neighbor is the people in our community that are going out, like Miss Barb. Miss Barb is being a good neighbor because she's going out and she's helping people that don't have a way to go get food. Our people at SEMP are being great neighbors, and she said that our people at Westminster doing the food bank there are being great neighbors, and our people at First Pres and all the other food banks in town. There's a lot of people that are being great neighbors. The doctors and nurses in the hospitals are literally putting their lives on their line to be a good neighbor to all of us. So I talked to the youth group today too, and we talked about a passage from a book called Galatians. And in Galatians, Paul is telling us about freedom in Jesus. And so one of the things that Paul says is that we are called to be free, but we're not to use our freedom to be selfish. We're to use our freedom to serve each other in love. So Paul says the entire law is fulfilled by one commandment: love your neighbor as yourself. And Barb shared a lot of ways she sees people in our community out there being a good neighbor. What are some ways that you see people being a good neighbor in your communities, and what are ways that you're being a good neighbor? Let us know. The youth group, when I talked to them today, some of them have, one of them had an uncle who lives on his own, so they've been calling and checking in with their uncle. And then another one of our youth group friends has a grandparents that are isolated and live far away and aren't able to contact with anyone, so they've been trying to really keep in contact with them. So do you guys have anyone in your lives that maybe needs a little bit of a phone call or a letter in the mail maybe, or maybe you could go right on their sidewalk and leave them a message on their sidewalk? Who do you have in your life that needs that extra phone call or that letter in the mail or that picture drawn for them, or maybe a message written on their sidewalk in front of their house? It can be your literal neighbor. It can be a family member. It can be an acquaintance. It can be someone from church. Because our neighbor is everyone. Our neighbor is not our literal neighbor. Our neighbor is everyone. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope that you can continue to love your neighbor. And that includes your parents and your sister and your brother at home with you. I hope you can continue to love everyone just like Jesus loves you. Have a great night, everybody.